Lately, I have been criticizing Donald Trump and was criticizing Elon Musk and his Doge for all of the line item vetoing, the after the fact vetoing of funding for certain government agencies. It is completely unconstitutional. The Congress is supposed to have the power of the purse. And once something is approved by Congress, it cannot be taken away by anyone. That's including the president. But the president has been doing all kinds of dastardly shit, as well as Elon Musk in the first couple of months with Doge. By the way, he did not save $160 billion. He ended up having to hire a hell of a lot of those people back. Some of those places did get shut down, but one of the places that Elon Musk went after was USAID or USAID, and it is a exercise of our soft power where we provide aid to poor countries to either help mitigate hunger or disease, and that wins us support in those countries. And of course, Republicans hate funding other countries for anything. They'd much rather be spent in America. And yeah, I mean, if that was the only thing that we spent money on and did not spend in America, maybe that would be a valid criticism. But the majority of our funding is for the military. Just all of our discretionary budget, it's like 60% of our discretionary budget goes to the military. And even on all those people that Doge fired, like the 250,000 people that they fired, which was a lot of people in sciences and USAID and what have you, many veterans. I think it was like 80,000 of those people were actual U.S. military veterans that got fired. But that right there encompasses about maybe 5% of the budget. And out of that small 5% of that particular little slice of the pie, that 70% of that is actual, military personnel in government positions. Anyway, let's take a look at this. Congress rolls back. Now, this is, like I said, I was complaining about line item vetoes and going back behind Congress's back to cut funding. Well, this is like the first time that Congress actually did cut this. Now, yes, it is legal. This particular cut is legal because Congress actually did it. Doesn't mean it's not fucking horrible and terrible. $9 billion in public media funding and foreign aid. $8 billion of that was going to foreign aid. We were giving $8 billion in food and medicine to places in Africa, which are suffering from hunger and not to mention the spread of AIDS. And we would provide AIDS medication on pennies on the dollar. And that was part of USAID, and we decided that was one of the first things that Doge went after. Well, anyway, Congress helped roll this back. $8 billion in funding for that kind of food and medication. Anyway, the House has approved a Trump administration plan to rescind $9 billion in previous allocated funds, including $1.1 billion for the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, and so PBS. Which, by the way, that is not where they get the majority of their funding. The majority of their funding comes from donations. So PBS will get hurt by this. I mean, it's not that $1 billion is not going to hurt their bottom line, but it's not going to kill them. But the cuts to food and medicine to those countries in Africa estimates about 14 million Africans will be dead by 2030. So in 5 years, 14 million people will die because we have rolled back funding for food and medicine. The vote 216 to 213. By the way, Democrats, maybe if you actually elected people who were under the age of 70, you wouldn't have lost this vote because we had this year alone, 4 Congress people have died in the Democratic Party. That could have been 216 to 217, including all but 2 Republicans in favor of the cuts. The bill goes next to the president's desk for signature. He signed it. Immediately after the vote, NPR CEO Catherine Marr issued a statement calling the cuts as an irreversible loss to the public radio system. She said that the effect would be an unwarranted dismantling of beloved local civic institutions and an act of Congress that disregards the public will. Public funding has enabled flourishing of a uniquely American system of unparalleled cultural, informational, and educational programs. We're talking about Sesame Street, folks. We're talking about Big Bird and Elmo. And ensures access to vital emergency alerting and reporting in times of crisis, all for about $1.60 per American. So once a year, America pays $1.60 for PBS, $1.60. You put 3 of those together, you might be able to afford a coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. Parents and children, senior citizens and students, tribal and rural communities, all will bear the harm of this vote. North Carolina Rep. Alma Adams was among the Democrats who rose to defend public broadcasting. Quote, when Hurricane Helene devastated western North Carolina last year, public broadcasting was there when traditional communications failed. Widespread power, cellular, and internet outages meant that for thousands of North Carolinians, public radio was how they received their news. The House moved to a vote-a-rama. That's their exciting little bit of let's add a little extra cuts after the bill passes late Wednesday and into early Thursday in the Senate to consider a series of amendments to the rescission package. All but one of them failed on largely party line votes. Republicans repeatedly vote to block changes to the President Trump's request known as a rescission. The single amendment that passed was aimed at protecting PEPFAR, the USAID's relief initiative created under President George W. Bush. So, a radical Dem. The House voted on Thursday means CPB will lose $1.1 billion, meant to fund it through the next 2 years, while the bill also cuts $7.9 billion in other programs. That's the AIDS medication and food funding. Although NPR, which produces news programs such as The Morning Edition and All Things Considered, relies on direct federal funds for only a small portion of the budget. Its approximately 1,000 member station gets a heftier portion of the operation revenue through CPB. Donald Trump here. It is very important that all Republicans adhere to my rescission bill and, in particular, defund the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Fuck all those people in the public. And NPR, which always talks bad things about me, which is worse than CNN and MSDNC put together. Any Republican that votes to allow this monstrosity to continue broadcasting will not have my support or endorsement. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Please stop cooking fish in the microwave at the office. But look, as far as Republicans go when it comes to funding foreign countries, they all suck. Not just Donald Trump, but all Republicans suck at this. They hate helping people. They don't even like helping Americans. You think they want to help poor people in foreign countries? Fuck no. Of course they don't. But the PBS NPR thing, that's got to do with this, folks.
Who's got more trash than any of yous? Grump, grump, grump. Who has the finest garbage and goo? Grump, grump, grump. That's right. His trash is more trashy.
This is a long time ago, but this was Sesame Street taking the piss out of Donald Trump because, he is a wealthy landlord who's always hated public broadcasting. He's never been a fan of Sesame Street. I mean, how can you hate Sesame Street? That's like hating Mr. Rogers, man. Seriously. But as you can obviously see, and just in case, this right here is, just in case this is copyrighted information, I'll just, it's a copyrighted song. I'll just play it. But Look at the guy with the orange comb over. Yeah, man. Even Oscar doesn't like him, but they're all sitting down having a meal of garbage with President Grump. Right there, folks. Anyway. Great stuff coming from the Republicans. Great stuff coming from the Republicans in the House and the Senate, helping to gut PBS and NPR and cut the medicine and food for starving people in Africa. You know, I mean, we do it in Gaza. You know, why not Africa as well? Meanwhile, we've got China, who is doing the Belt and Road Initiative, who is giving, you know, money and subsidies to all of these foreign countries, basically doing what we used to do when we had sway in the world. After World War II, we were the top of the charts, man. We were the tits. We were the bee's fucking knees because we helped out all of those countries that were destroyed by World War II. We not only helped them rebuild, but we donated funds to help them get out of hunger, and it won us lots of kudos across the planet. It made us the indispensable nation. It made us that shining city on a hill for all of the rest of the world to look to. Now we are in a place where we are telling everybody to go fuck themselves, whether it's got to do with, you know, shit ass trade deals where we are, you know, doing tariffs. Meanwhile, Americans are paying those tariffs, those taxes. You know, we cut taxes for the wealthy, but, you know, we're adding tariffs to you. So when you see your groceries and commodities and whatever that you buy at Walmart or Target and those prices start to go up, now you know why. But, you know, we want to make sure that we cut, you know, at least $1 billion out of PBS. I mean, meanwhile, that $1 billion could be spent at least a dozen bombs. You know, we could get another contract for Elon Musk's, you know, Grok to do a military contract. I think he just got like $400 million. $400 million. After Grok turned into Mecha Hitler, they ended up getting a fucking $400 million, maybe it was $200 million, but whatever. $400 million military contract for Grok. Mecha Hitler Grok. But we can't fund Big Bird. We can't fund Grover. You know, we can't fund Oscar the Grouch and Snuffleupagus because they made fun of me and I don't like them. God damn, man. It is so... Sometimes, man, I'm just ashamed. I'm ashamed of my country. What the hell happened to you? We let this polecat in, and he is completely fucked with everything, including half of America's minds. They think that this is good. They think this is great. They think this is making America great. Anyway. Sorry, PBS, if you are one of those people out there that does donate to the public broadcasting system, you know, hey, maybe throw an extra $1.60 in. Maybe help them out a little bit. I know I will. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.